There she is.
Okay, here it's working. Grand Rising, happy afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. So
Mm,
good to see you, Andrea.
so
Hi,
good to see
love.
you. Hello. You're in Joshua Tree, right?
I am. I think you can see
Yeah.
the vibes behind me, always in the desert lately.
You could be in Egypt, honestly.
I
I'm
know, right?
gonna move this
I'm still
back.
there.
Yeah.
I know, right? It's a bit close.
Yeah. I know, just like all of a sudden you're like right in the screen.
You're like, ooh,
Like, let me just
zoom in.
can I have some space, IG Live? Damn.
Exactly. You're like, all up in my business. Let's go.
I know we gotta get our shit together. Okay.
That's right.
Hi.
Hi.
So thank you for everybody that's here, whether you're watching it on IG or you're watching this on YouTube. I'm so grateful for you being here. I'm here with my beautiful friend and sister Paula, who is the creator of the Take Me to Egypt retreat. And I got to go to Egypt with her in April. Or excuse me, not in April. We're going back in April, but we
I know,
went.
babe.
We're going back in April, but we just went in November. We were there for like 2 weeks and had the most incredible time. It literally changed my life. It restructured my DNA. Like, I'm still integrating and processing that journey, and she has so graciously invited me back to facilitate again, or to help facilitate her retreat in April. And so I just want to introduce you and like just tell the people a little bit about who you are, what this retreat means to you. Then we're going to talk a little bit about our experience in Egypt, and then we're also going to give you guys lots of information on the upcoming retreat in April, and we're also here to answer your questions. So Paula, the floor is yours, my love.
Oh, it's so good to see you. Thank you. I feel like we're far, but we're so close again. So it's just I love you so deeply. So
I love you too.
thank you for having me, and thank you all for joining us right here in this moment. I know you feel the connection of like wanting to go back, or curiosity about like what are you guys talking about? What was this experience about? Y'all can feel the frequency. All I can say is we create ripples in this matrix creation world that we're living in right now, and I'm leaning into that more and more and more. So for the ones that don't know me, my name is Paula, and I lived many different lives: a singer, artist, musician, and also a nurse. So I lived so many different lives, but in this time, in this phase of my life, I feel deeply that there needs to be more about life than what it is that we're just seeing in front of us. And so I've always been on this quest of searching and finding the truth that's beneath what we think is the truth. And so Kemet has just been a place that I know my soul has lived in. Every time I go, I feel and I remember different pieces and parts of myself and existence. And what I witness and what I get to witness, I'm so grateful for that. When you guys feel the call to come and join us, you remember too. So to witness everyone that comes on these journeys to remember parts in themselves, and they're not always roses and honey, as we were just talking earlier. You know, they're specifically in the time. I
Uh-oh.
just got paused. I'm back.
That was just
Somebody's trying to hop on the
confirmation.
call.
That was just confirmation.
Exactly.
Well,
Like, ding.
you keep chatting. I'll be right back. Keep
No
chatting,
problem.
Paula.
Thank you all for being here, you guys. So yeah, I think it's just really important for us to remember parts of ourselves that we ignored or we buried, or society has told us is not real or doesn't exist. And so when we get to visit Egypt, or Kemet, how it was called in ancient times, I like to interchange those different words because it's both true. One is the ancient time and one is the current time. So when we get to be in these lands, we get activated in a way that I can't even put into words. We keep trying to put it in the words, and as it just moves through us, the different activations, the remembrances, even our cells, I feel like my cellular structure changes when I'm there. Specifically when I'm in the pyramids, there's just some insane activation vibration that happens, and no matter what you believe in, you can feel it. And so I think that's why it's still until this day, there's a lot of rumors about how old the pyramids are, how old the sphinxes. Personally, I believe they're way older than what most people think. And so that ancient frequency is really palpable everywhere we walk. And so there's so many things. I mean, we could talk a whole day about Egypt and what we get to experience and what occurs, and it will still miss so much.
True.
But I think witnessing you, and if it's okay, can I share what I got to witness in the Great Pyramid of Giza when we went downwards?
Yeah, of
Can I
course.
share what I got to witness by from you?
Yes, yes, please share. Because I haven't talked about it.
I know, and sometimes we need more time to integrate, and so I wanted to just make sure to check in with you. Is it ready to be shared? But I think it's just a special nugget. On our first day that we got to be in Egypt and we got to go inside the Great Pyramid of Giza, and went inside, we had pyramids just to ourselves in the middle of the night, which that itself is a whole experience. So we got to go inside to the sacred chamber, and then we also got to go downwards. So if you imagine the pyramid, it looks up in the, in the sky, and then the earth is right here. So but then the pyramid also goes inwards further down. So almost, if you can kind of imagine a Merkaba, right? The
Hmm.
triangle on top, triangle on the bottom. So we got to go in those caves and these rooms and these tunnels down below, bear crawling on our knees,
Sweating.
holding on with dear life, and sweating because it's so hot. All of a sudden, I look at Andrea and she is touching the walls. And the guide was like saying, "Come touch here." And he's starting to cry, our guide. He's like, "This is where I feel it." And I was like, "We're feeling it too." And all of a sudden, Andrea is like talking a different language. She's in a different time. Her light language is like she's having conversations with the spirit. And I'm just like, yes, we have arrived. We
Yes.
are here. The
That was
mission
the
is
first
here.
night.
That was
It was, well, I mean, it was technically it was our second day there, but it was the first official day of the retreat. Like we got there the day before, and that was like the like we went to the Sphinx that morning, and then we went up to the plateau and had lunch. Then we went back to the pyramids and went into the Great Pyramid at night, and had a, like Paula just said, our own private tour. And that's one of the things that I loved so much about this experience with Paula was that while we were going to all the different temples, and I'm going to come back to the light language and all that in a second. But when we were going to all of the different temples and sacred sites and things like that, there's so many tour groups that are in these spaces. But what was really special about our tour, about like our experience, was like it was people were having a very surface level experience with Egypt. Like I could feel it. It was very closed off. It was very surface level. The way that the guides were talking about things, I was like, they're not tapped in. Like they understand the history, and they're able to talk about it from a place of like memorization. And these are the things that happened. But what we got to experience with Paolo was a really powerful portal where all of the guides that we were connected with, they understood the frequency that we were bringing into the space. They understood what our mission was, and our mission wasn't just to see these monuments. Our mission was to walk through portals and to remember and to have deep spiritual transformation. And we were so supported in that on this experience because of what Paula curated. So there was a video that I saw on TikTok yesterday, where a woman went into the Great Pyramid, but the video that she showed, it was packed with people. Like she's like walking up the steps, and it's really slow, and she's seeing all the people coming in and out, and all the comments were just like, "Oh my God, I don't need to see that. Like, thank you for showing us. I don't need to be there. I don't need to go to the pyramids." And I was so bummed by that because, and I wrote in the comments, I said, if you go to the pyramids, you have to go at night and get a private tour because it was a life-changing experience. It was nothing like what that woman showed on that video. And it was such a bummer for me that so many people saw that video and were turned off from wanting to have that experience, because that's the surface level experience of the Great Pyramid. That's the tourist level experience. But what we got was so sacred and so special. And we can't talk about all the things that we did in the pyramid because it's a private ceremony, and we want to keep that sacred for the people that join the retreat and get to come in and have this transformative experience. But for me, like walking in there, and there was nobody in the pyramid except for us, our group, and then two guides. That was it. And as we're walking into the pyramid, the gentlemen who were working like the front entrance or like guarding the front entrance, as we're walking in, they kept saying to us, "Welcome home, welcome home, welcome home." And I know those tourists on that TikTok video did not get that experience. What we got was completely different. Like Paula has really done such a beautiful job of curating a luxurious a luxurious, sacred, private, highly elevated experience of Egypt. And I'm so grateful that I waited to go until I did. Because like when I've known you for years, and I told you, I'm like, I want to go to Egypt with you. Like I knew I didn't want to go with anybody else. I was like, I want to go with Paula. And then when she presented me with the opportunity to come in November, it was just, so yeah, I had to just like, I had to give them a little bit more context, Paula, because like people don't really understand what you what you allowed for us to experience at the Great Pyramids. And when I was down in that chamber, I did like, I went into a portal. It was not, I was present, but I was not present. It was like so many versions of my soul had all gathered simultaneously, like within my being and within my body. And the language that was pouring out of me was like nothing I had ever expressed before. And it was like deep and visceral and healing. And there was rage and joy and sadness and anger and power, just so many things that were coming through that I'm still just like, what the fuck happened? Like, what was that?
A vortex, truly.
Yes.
I'm so grateful that you did a little bit deeper recap because I think for us we were there, so we know what happened, but
Mm-hmm.
not everybody is has the knowledge and the awareness. So thank you for seeing the curation that we've been putting in year after year. So this was our
Oh,
fourth
it's
retreat.
it's obvious like when you're in these spaces and you see like what our group is moving through versus what all the other group, just the frequency that they're on, you feel the difference. Like you can see it, but you can feel the difference. And there was a gentleman who just said, it was Happy Kids Toy Boxes. He said, the first time I went to Luxor, I was in with a white tour group, and I fell to my knees when I saw the Pharaoh's pictures because he looked like me. Thank
You
you.
know,
Thank you
thank you
for sharing.
for sharing that. And if I may add to this piece, that is a huge reason why I love to bring people because you cannot deny things that are carved into stone.
Mm,
And when you get to witness yourself, all of the shades that you can imagine, and the import and export, and seeing us ourselves in regal, beautiful outfits and garments, you cannot tell us that we should believe the lies that have been known in this society. And I think that is what is like a visceral somatic experience. And then like what you share too, like when they tell us welcome back home, especially from Nubia town, that's when
mm,
it's like a spear right into my heart. With the last indigenous tribe of our melanated ancestors in Egypt, when they welcome us home, that's just, I mean, really everywhere when they say welcome back home, it's like a
mm-hmm.
balm to your heart and your soul. And you can feel it. Like they don't say that to everybody, like you said,
They
but I think
don't.
for
They do not say that to everybody. They say that to the people that they recognize.
yep. And then I don't know if did you notice that in certain temples when we as soon as we walked in, incense got lit.
There were so many magical, I don't even want to call them synchronicities because it wasn't just things happening simultaneously. It was like so intentional. So intentional.
So intentional. So amazing. Like still so much integration happening from the journey. I know you guys, if you're following me, you've been seeing all the recaps, and I'm not even done. You guys,
Yeah.
we're not even done. We have Dendera Temple left. We have Edfu Temple left that I'm going to be sharing. We have more of the beach vibes left to share,
Yeah.
than a
I
little bit
haven't
more of
even
the
started
desert.
really sharing
I
anything
know.
on my page yet because I've been working on bringing people into selfish bitch initiation. But if you're like from my audience watching this, please follow Paula. And because her, I mean, just all of her offerings are so wonderful. And in addition to her doing the retreats in Egypt, she does retreats in Switzerland. She also goes to Egypt and she procures the beautiful oils and fragrances and incense and just all the herbs, and so you can use her as a resource for getting things directly from Egypt. Like we went to a perfumery there, and we're talking this is the place that makes the base perfumes for all of the major designer brands. So like all of the major designer brand perfumes that are marked up to 100 plus dollars and diluted with all those chemicals. Like we went to the perfumery where you get the original fragrance, and it's just
We're just going to the source. Where is
yes,
it made?
just going to the source. But Paula, she makes it possible so that people who are in the West are able to still have access to these beautiful offerings of this ancient land. And I would love for you, Paula, would you mind just talking a little bit about April and like giving some of the nuts and bolts of like the dates and all of the things that people need to know if they're interested in going?
Absolutely. So this year, what we're doing, we're heading back. We're going to have two retreats this year, but the next one is April 1st till the 13th, 12 nights, 13 days, where we travel through Egypt. And we made a small little adjustment for this journey because April's temperature is a little bit different than the November temperature. So we're actually going to end our retreat. Just start out with telling you what the end is, just like in the movies. Show you the end and then we'll go back.
This is
Yes,
how we got here.
exactly. So one of the things that's really been crucial, and my spirit guide's been sharing with me that water is so important. And so we end by the beach, a great way to integrate this open air museum that we basically get to walk through for 10 days. And so we end by the Red Sea. So one of the best places to snorkel or dive. So if you're diving or you just want to go relax and scuba dive or just do some snorkeling, beautiful place to be at for integration. So that is the switch. So if you've been looking at our retreat from last year and you're like, oh, I love going, just know that there's a small change when it comes to that. And then the other thing I think you noticed that when we were chatting about Aswan, that beautiful place where Isis temple is, Nubian village is, the Isis gate from the original temple is in the south in Aswan. And so this year we decided to actually stay in Ben Ben for 2 nights. It is, they call it the Santorini of Egypt because it is right in the, on the River Nile, and it is all white, painted in white and turquoise blue. So it really feels
Okay,
like,
first of all,
yes,
Santorini is the Egypt of Greece because Egypt did it first.
you're right. You're right. Let's correct that.
Right? They're calling it the Santorini of Egypt, but Greece got all their shit from Egypt. So Santorini is the Egypt of Greece.
Correct. Correct. And you guys, that place is such a treat. And I've been someone who's been traveling all my life. Like I wouldn't exist if my parents didn't travel. And I want to say this is top three places I've ever gotten to go and visit. We're talking hospitality, the view, the location. Like, you go to my page, you'll see the one turquoise blue pool, and then the Nile behind me, that is Aswan, and you'll see it in the description. So if you wanted to look. And so this year we get to spend 2 nights there, a little bit of slower pace, for folks to be able to have that integration because we do start out with the pyramids again, the Great Pyramid of Giza, and we get to go inside again for our opening ceremony at night. We rented it privately because of what we just shared. And what I can share as well is the first year we went was 2021. And as we all remember with the pizza pandemic, not many people traveled. I don't like to even call it the name, but y'all know what I'm talking
Yes,
about.
yes, the panini.
And so and so it was not as busy. And each year it's gotten more busy. So we would have been able to get away with some things in 2021, meaning like not renting certain things privately and going at a time. that has less people there, and you will still have very much of a private access. But nowadays, it's not really possible anymore. Also, the museum is brand new that they've been building for like the last 10 years. So Egypt has a big eye on itself right now. And so a lot of people are going to visit. And so if you're someone that wants to connect energetically, I highly recommend to either rent it privately or join us or go with groups where you know that they rent these places out privately. Because in order to meditate or even touch certain things, we need to have these permits. And that is what the private access is that we are procuring for us to be able to connect and meditate and really connect with those ancient codes. Because if you have so many people, I know for
Hi,
myself,
Candace.
hi.
Beautiful sister Candace is here. I had to shout her out really quick. So I don't mean to interrupt you. Candace, you
Beautiful.
would love it because I don't, Candace, will you let us know in the chat if you've been to Egypt before? Because we were just there in April. I know you're dropping in kind of late, or I keep saying April because we're going in April, but we
I
were
know,
just there
you're
in
like
November.
already here.
I know, but we're going back in April. And I feel like you would just lose your mind. Like you got to come back. You got to go back and watch the beginning of this when I post it because I was talking about some of the powerful and transformative experiences that I had there, and just what a beautiful journey Paula curated from start to finish, just luxurious. She says she's okay. She's like, I definitely want to come. Okay, DM Paula or DM me and let me know. We're talking about it right now. The dates are April 1st through the 13th, and it's 12 nights there, and it's just from start to finish, you guys. It is, I mean, nobody, like, you never touch your bags. We have drivers that take us everywhere. We have guides everywhere. We have, it's from the first time you land in Cairo, there's somebody waiting for you right when you get off the plane to take your luggage, get you through the visa process, get you through customs, get you through everything. And every single time we change planes, we have people handling everything for us, taking our passports, getting us our tickets, walking us through security, taking us around the lines to like go to direct access. I mean, every single thing was so beautifully done. Cruising down the Nile on a private boat for 3 nights, a private boat on the Nile with full staff, chef, body workers, everything in this experience.
Jacuzzi.
The jacuzzi, like all of our meals laid out for us, having our rooms cleaned every day, and like the men being like, a little flirtatious because you have all these beautiful women and just really taking such good care of us. So if you were curious about, this experience that's coming up in April, will you tell them about the early bird that you're running right now?
Yes, absolutely. So amazing opportunity right now to join because if you're early, you always I like giving some discounts.
Yes.
Um, and so we have two options. So when you go on the website, you'll see the standard ticket. Standard ticket is a double room accommodation. So usually you would come with a friend or if you're okay being with somebody else. And then we have the VIP ticket, which is the single room accommodation. And then you get a private class with Andrea, you get a private class with me, you get some body work. So it really depends on what your needs are. Personally, I think all of you guys deserve the VIP upgrade. We all need our own rooms, but we all are in different but we're all in different places. So the discount I'm running right now is $889 off for the standard ticket until January 6th. And I know we just want to be in April
We just
already.
want it to be April already. We just keep saying April over and over again.
I love it. And then for the VIP ticket, it's $1,111 off right now until January 6th. And you can do that even with a payment plan. So all you need to do is email us by the 6th, the latest. Schedule your call because it's really important for us to have a conversation. It is, again, not a trip for everybody. This is for the seekers that want to look deeper and that are also ready to allow shadow season to be coming up because living in Egypt, believing that we've lived there before or having that connection, it's not always just sweetness that will come up.
Right.
And we are ready to dive into that journey and be brave to look at those things. And that also means there might be days where you're just like, I just need to curl up in the ball and cry and release.
Yes.
And then I'm glad I have some water to help me release it somewhere in the bathtub or the
Yes.
jacuzzi. So
I personally, I had there were so many shadows that came up for me on this experience, and there were a lot of things that I really needed to face and confront about myself. I cried a lot. We all cried. We
we
all
all
cried a
cried.
lot. We all cried a lot. But I definitely cried a lot while I was in Egypt. I mean, just our experience in the Great Pyramid, there were, as I was walking up into the pyramid, as we, because it's a long journey, like going up those stairs to get to the sacred chamber, and just the walk to the chamber, I was just crying and crying, and there was so much energy flowing through my body. There was a lot of rage. I had so much rage flowing through my body, and it was my soul and my body remembering things that I had experienced in previous lifetimes. And even Paula had a vision of one of my previous lifetimes, and she shared that with me, which I'm going to keep private for now. But she shared a really powerful vision that she had of me, and the second she said it to me, it just anchored into my body. Like there was such deep resonance, and understanding where some of that rage and anger was coming from allowed me to have a deeper catharsis while we were in the pyramids, and of course going down into the bottom chamber, and then being transported into another world where I'm literally speaking, like I think I was channeling for at least 20 or 30 minutes. Like it wasn't just me, like I was channeling and speaking in a different language, just speaking ancient divine language, and releasing so many things, breaking curses and releasing like energetic bondage, and like giving voice to things that hadn't been spoken out loud for millennia. There were so many things that flowed through me. And Candace says, "Why am I already tearing up, girl?" Because
I'm still tearing up. I mean, is it the sun or is it the emotions? I don't know.
it's all of the things. I mean,
All of
Ra
it.
Ra is with us. Ra is like blessing your skin right now. You're looking like just glistening in that gorgeous sunlight. And it's just been so transformative and so life changing. Even just the upgrades to my own personal life since getting back from Egypt. What has shifted in my personal life that I'm gonna start talking about on my platform over the next few weeks has just been beyond words, just monumental. And I'm so grateful that I get to come back and to share this experience, here on Instagram, and help bring more people into, you know, experience the magic of this land. Because if it's something that's been calling you, if you like, if home is calling you home, then I really recommend taking that journey for yourself. And I'd like to give you an opportunity to talk about the actual financial investment. A couple of people in the comments have asked about that. But before you do, I want to let you know that Paula does offer payment plans. So you have a couple of options, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I understand is that you have the deposit, and then you can make a few small payments so that you're fully paid up by April when we go to Egypt. Or
Yes.
you're offering Klarna, right?
Yep.
The
Klarna
Klarna.
for
So she also is offering Klarna. So if you need more time for a more extended payment plan to be able to be resourced enough to have this experience, then you can book this via Klarna, and then that will be your own payment processing, and then you can set up a payment plan that is perfect for your needs and like whatever your financial circumstances are right now. Did I
yeah.
get it right? Okay.
Yeah, you got it perfect. And even if you're not able to catch the early bird, so after January 6th, there's still payment plans available. Personally, I think if you can get 1,000 or almost 1,000 off your ticket, that can be your flight, right? So for the ones asking pricing wise, so our double room accommodation are $8,888, which is including the food, the transportation, like Andrea mentioned. From the moment you arrive in Cairo, you are taken care of. So you airport pickups and drop-offs, all the excursions, all the cars, all the entry fees, all the meals. There's one meal that's not included, which is a mama's home cooked meal, which I think is $70 plus transport for the standard ticket owners. Everything else is covered outside of that. Like water is in our own van. So like a lot of things that you might not think of that actually add up on it, all the journeys, right? If you got to
Right.
buy your waters multiple times a day. So that is covered. We usually have snacks for you guys on the road as well. And so that is really important so that we can be very comfortable. So the only things that are not included are tipping. So, there's about $10 a day. You got to think of tipping, and we can handle that for you guys if you'd like to. That way you don't have to, because that can be a little hassle. And I've heard that from other people, constantly thinking of like how much little tip you got to give. And so our guides handle that really beautifully, including, the temple guards that are watching these places. So we bless them as well in their work. And then the VIP ticket is 11,555, which includes, like I mentioned to you guys, a private class with Andrea beforehand. Is it called Soul Alignment class that
Yeah,
we
my
discussed?
my yeah, my soul alignment sessions.
Yes.
You'll get a soul
So we
alignment
get
session with me, and you also get a class with Paula.
Yes, you get a private class with me, plus the ceremonies that we are doing already on the retreat. But it's for people that are saying, I want to go all out. I've dreamed of this trip all my life. I want the body work. I want the private classes. I want the single room. I want 2 classes, private classes with Paula and Andrea. And so this is for the ones that want to immerse themselves deeper. And
You
so
want to
that's why.
really tap into that ancient Egyptian queen energy or king energy for the gentleman.
Exactly. It's that royal empress or emperor kind of frequency where I believe when you invest in yourself in that, the universe is like, oh, wait, this is a new frequency this person is attracting. So let me match that frequency. And there's something that happens when you really treat yourself, the self care, the self love, which, is not always just indulging, it's also being disciplined with your body and however capacity that fuels you up. But to treat yourself, big birthday, a lot of folks come when big shadow seasons actually, got a divorce or finished school or they lost someone or like a big birthday, like I mentioned to you guys. So celebrate these moments, even the shadow moments, because out of the shadow is where we can see the light, right? We cannot appreciate the light when we don't have moments and phases of our life that we're going through shadows. And I think Egypt is a perfect place to bring you back into your glory.
Oh, that was so
Remind
beautifully
you.
said. So just chills over and over again. I'm just like,
The wind was like, okay, confirmation.
and I wanted to touch on, because we talked about everything that's included and how well taken care of you are. Like, I like truly, because we're not just staying in Cairo when we go. We're in Cairo for a couple of days, and then we're going to Aswan, then we go to Luxor, and maybe not necessarily in this order. So forgive me if it's not in this order, but we go to Aswan, Cairo, Luxor, going to the Red Sea. There's multiple trips within the trip where we're hopping on private planes or getting into a van and taking like a nice little scenic drive that's like a 2 or 3 hour drive somewhere. And every single time we're moving to a different location, just literally, I'm sitting my bags outside of my door and I'm going to get breakfast, and then everything else is taken care of. And when I step on this boat, oh, there's my luggage. Oh, there's my things. Just feeling so taken care of. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about our guides that we had, because we had 2 guides with us. We had Sahar for the first couple of days of our experience, and she was just big ball of energy, so fun. And what I loved about the guides that we got to experience, and I'm sure a lot of the guides in Egypt have the same story, is these guides they became guides because they were little kids who were obsessed with talking to the tourists. Like, they loved seeing people from other countries, and they would spend time around the temples and the pyramids, just so that they can see people and get to talk to people outside of their home environment. And they're so passionate about their history, they're so passionate about teaching people. But what we got was really, in my opinion, really special, especially with our second guide, Hassan, who was with us for the majority of our experience. This gentleman, just like, I fell in love with this man. Like, his heart is so pure, and he's an archaeologist. Like, he's not just a tour guide, he is an archaeologist, y'all. So he knows everything about
And he has the doctorate in chematology. I don't know if you know
yes,
him. Yeah, he's very
Yes.
humble about it. He's like,
But he's
yeah.
so humble, like so humble about it and so sweet. But he understood our mission because, like what I was saying at the beginning, how a lot of the tours were getting very surface level. Like Hassan, he understood the mission that we were coming from. He understood that Paula created an experience where we are honoring the four phases and the four faces of the feminine. And this is a man, especially considering that, Egypt is a heavily patriarchal country. And that's something that we'll probably talk about in another live because I know we're going to go live about this again. But very quickly, Egypt is a very, very patriarchal culture, very patriarchal country. And you feel that when you're there, you feel like the heaviness of like that dominating masculine energy in Egypt. And it's something that the men are deeply affected by as well. And what I loved about my experience with Hassan and some of the other gentlemen that were here, like we haven't even talked about Omar, like there's just so many amazing gentlemen. Like
We gotta
so
just keep coming on
I
these lives.
know. Just like so many amazing men that were there to help serve us and support us, and Hassan's perspective and understanding of the feminine and his reverence for the divine feminine just shine through in every single thing that he said or did. And that was something that was very fascinating for me because you guys see my work. You know how I talk about patriarchy and the divine feminine and the masculine and all of that, and going to a place like Egypt and really being served by the masculine, by the men that Paula called into this experience was also really healing for me as a woman to get to experience, like the juxtaposition of like being in a heavy patriarchal country, but also feeling so supported and held and served by the masculine. Just so mind blowing. So to me, this experience is so much deeper than just going to Egypt and seeing wonders of the world. It is about transformation and also rewiring your consciousness around things that you believed before and getting to see from a completely different lens. Like I got to soften and I got to deepen my empathy for the masculine through this experience. And Hassan will be joining us again in April, which I was telling him, I was
Yes.
like, please, we have to have Hassan again, please, please, please.
Yeah, the behind the scenes conversation that we have, when we come back and be like, so keeping this, yeah, keep, like the game, like keep it or skip it, keep it or
Yeah.
take it out. Or like, no, Hassan, like truly, if you're listening to this, Hassan, he's probably on another trip with another group. But whenever you listen to this, I just deepest gratitude for, your love of the divine feminine. And I know you might hear us all talking about the divine feminine. Like personally, I think this is the divine energy of all of us, right? The divine feminine, the divine masculine. That to me is the ultimate. Um, but because of where we are, the work that we're doing is to help the divine feminine come up and be back into the righteous energy of where it needs to be because it's been suppressed for so long. And seeing different perspectives, like you said, like how they're like literally catering, and I'm literally missing that still. And it was such a stark difference. As soon as you leave Egypt, you're in the plane. I landed in Turkey. That was on my way home. I was like, "Ugh, where are my Habibis?
My Habibi.
Where are my Habibis?"
Because everybody was Habibi in Egypt. Oh, shukran Habibi, shukran Habibi.
That's right. Or hi Shakira, Shakira, Shakira.
Shakira, Shakira, Beyonce, Shakira,
Yes.
Shakira.
It is truly I think it's such an interesting place overall as well, of like how much laughter we've had, the cackling, you guys, of us, the jokes and the moments of joy and fun and lightheartedness, and then the depth of it all. So it is a full spectrum of experiencing yourself. And I think, really that thing, that's what it's about. Any journeys that we do is like to experience ourselves in a different way and get to know ourselves because we are many different facets, right? We're not just one thing. And so I think sometimes when we are living in a certain place, we get kind of programmed or program ourselves to be a certain way. So when we travel, we get to kind of open up and blossom and like see, oh, I don't have to. I can do it a different way, or I can see it from a different perspective. Um, but before we hop off, I wanted to, I mean, I know your audience probably knows about your amazing class, The Selfish Bitch, but my audience might not know as much, or for the ones that are just joining us or just tapping in for the first time. Would you mind, or can I'm going to share a little bit, and then I would love for you to add on a little bit to that knowledge. But Andrea is an amazing teacher and healer. She's got many, many different gifts. She doesn't share all of them yet. Um, but one of the things we got to experience was on that Nile boat that we talked about, that we rented by ourselves, all wooden, beautifully decked out. She taught this incredible class called The Selfish Bitch, or Sovereign, woman, and really tapped into how do we lean back as royalty or the queen? Like, how do we actually sit in that throne? And what does that mean practically, living, activating? As we even were just traveling through Egypt, like, how can we activate that queenness? And for me, that image just keeps coming up of like, just lean back into the throne, like lean back. And when I notice I'm like, should I, or trying to decide something, I'm like, okay, just lean back, take a breath. How would the queen, how would royalty behave in this moment? And so class is phenomenal, you guys. And I know you're like, The Selfish Bitch, is that only for women? No, because we are talking about an embodiment of the feminine energy where we don't deal with bullshit or mediocrity or half-ass shit or flakiness or I don't know what I want. Fuck that. Excuse me for my French. Actually, no, I'm not
I
going to
love
excuse
it.
myself.
I love
But,
it.
and connecting her knowledge of practical embodiments, she goes through the history of us human beings, of how we interact with each other, and then brings it back down to practical examples of how we can apply it into life. And so for me personally, I really love this class because one, I think it's nice to think about theories up here, right? And like, okay, the theory, this is amazing, but then how do we actually practically apply it to our lives? For me, that's how I can anchor knowledge and information. Otherwise, I feel like it's just in the back drawer somewhere. Um, and I'm really excited that you're teaching this class again this year. And we were talking about actually splitting it in two parts, doing one of the parts early in the retreat. So that way, as we are traveling, we can continuously talk about how do we embody the regalness? How do we lean back? And going through and even having conversations with you about it. It's like, hey, I don't know, how is the queen reacting in this moment? And you have really amazing insight um, through how you were navigating the world as an early child. And I think you just have that innately in you. And so thank you for never letting go of that and sharing that knowledge with us. As I like to call myself a people pleaser, I'm a recovering people pleaser.
Yeah.
I'm not really doing it as much anymore, but I have moments where I catch myself. I'm like, oh, this is actually what serves me. And
Right.
so um, class is phenomenal. If you can't experience it with us in Egypt, you better go click on that link. And would you mind sharing how people are able to join that class right now? I know you've got something happening right now.
Yes, thank you. I mean, first of all, I don't really feel like I need to say anything else about the class because that was so wonderful the way that you expressed that, and I really love about that leaning back into that sovereign queen energy. I'm gonna put that in my back pocket. Thank you.
You got that.
And yeah, it's like Selfish Bitch is just, it's a frequency. It's like you said, it's an embodiment. It's a frequency of clarity, a frequency of clarity, a frequency of sovereignty, and just being so grounded in yourself, the vision that you have for your life, and not saying yes to anything that, or saying no to anything that doesn't align with that. And yeah, I do. I teach practical wisdom, practical embodiment exercises, and I am very excited about splitting that into two classes, because that's the one thing is like the class is like, it's a workshop, but it's always like, okay, but more. And so splitting that up means that we can do sort of like the lesson on one day, and then we can do the embodiment on another day, which will give the transmission more time to breathe. And I'm really excited about that. And because the class needs to be expanded, which is kind of leading into the offering that I have right now, which is my Selfish Bitch initiation. And the reason why I'm calling it the initiation is because that's what Egypt was for me. Egypt was a powerful initiation, and I'm going to be sharing some things over the next week about my own journey with my own initiation, to help you understand why this offering is so impactful. And so this initiation is about taking, some of those lessons that come from Selfish Bitch, and like, let's really excavate here. Let's really break this down into more digestible pieces. So rather than it being almost like a sandblast of information, we get to take our time and really let it breathe over the course of a 3-week container. So it's a 21-day container that starts on January 7th. And each week we'll have 2 calls. And the first call is a transmission from me where I will share like a download and insight that's connected to that week's lesson. And then the second call of the week is like a Q&A hot seat coaching type of call. So all of the questions and things that come up from the first, you bring to the second call, and that's where I will answer your questions and then bring a few women up so I can like dive deeper with them so that you can see an immediate shift happen for them in the moment, and you'll get to see a little bit more of how I get to work one-on-one. And so the 3-week process, the first week is all about, I call it the good girl exorcism. The good girl is the umbrella term for the people pleaser, the overgiver, the obedient child, the woman who always does what she's told and never questions, and then feels an intense amount of resentment and guilt and shame over the way she self-betrays and self-abandons. And so the first week is all about deconstructing why you feel like you need to be obedient, why you have been trained to exert so much energy in service to other people, completely denying yourself. Then the second week is all about anchoring into radical responsibility and radical power, because you get power from taking responsibility. The more you become responsible for, the more power you have. And so this is about eliminating victim consciousness, which a lot of women are operating from a state of victimhood, of being passive, passive passengers of their life rather than being the driver of their life. And recognizing that if you are a divine being, if you are a creatrix, then your reality is your responsibility, and it's something that you've created. And thus, by taking responsibility for what you've created, you now have the power to shift that and change that. So that's week 2. Yes. And then the third week is all about this rise of the sovereign woman. So taking everything that we took from this first couple of weeks and then putting that into practical embodiment practices and methods, so that once this container ends, you feel grounded and connected to this part of yourself that can take all of those lessons and then start living that out in your day-to-day life. And so that is the full transformation that we have in this container. Is you start as the obedient good girl, and then you leave the sovereign woman, the selfish bitch. And so that starts January 7th, and we're still in early bird pricing for that as well. The price is going to go up next week. I think next week. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I said the price will go up without notice, but right now it's $555 for that full 3-week container. All of the calls are being recorded. So if you can't make it live, then you will still have access to all of the recordings. And I have women that have joined this container from all over the world. I have women in Australia. I have women in France, in the UK, in Germany. So I have women all over the world that are going to be showing up for the initiation next week.
It's amazing, guys. If you, like I said, you really can do it all. You can do her immersion virtual class right now, and then in Egypt, we're like, wow, get right deep into the cake, like deep. It's so good. And then I also wanted to share that Andrea is very knowledgeable about human design. So that's another topic we usually end up talking quite a bit. So if you're someone that's also like dabbling in that world of getting to know yourself better, and really, I think to me, the way I like to look at it is like these these breakdowns of astrology or human design or the 9 keys. It's just knowing the tools that you're working with, is what's in
Yes.
your toolbox, right? Because what can you create? You need to know your toolbox. You need to know your ingredients. What cake are we baking, right? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so, and then her really helping you understand even like energy levels and like why are we passionate about something and not. And so we had this amazing conversation about human design, and that helped me, and I've had many lessons about human design. But again, I think, Andrea, your gift is to break things down, like have a knowledge in depth, but then break it down for everyone. You know how to break it down. Like, okay, we want to talk on the like a very high level about the subject. If we have the knowledge, we can, but then also like, let's break it down actually to the practicality. What does that mean? And again, help me a lot as a generator, like understanding my energy, sharing your energy. And that I want to say has been really like a beautiful gift for me to witness of how open we got to just speak about our own energy and our needs and what was coming up.
Yes.
And I think that's a big one when you travel, like to really like throat chakra, being open and really sharing like, hey, actually, this experience right here really took me deep. I'm going to just take a nap now. Right? Because like, I know that first day on the boat, I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to do yoga flow. And I told myself, yeah, right. You're just going to sleep for one.
Yes.
And that was great. And I think at 11 o'clock, I showed up and did a yoga flow. But it's like we all need to recharge, because if we don't know our own needs, then we become cranky or don't feel good, or, our body is it's going to tell us, I need you to, no, it's not an option anymore. Now you're not feeling well. So now you actually need to. So
Right.
that's such a big, important component.
Mm.
Yes.
Well, thank you
Look,
so
we
much for
chatted
that
way longer than how
reflection.
long
I
we
know.
wanted
I
to.
was like, I have half an hour and an hour later, but I do need to go because actually my phone is dying. But I do appreciate that reflection, especially around human design and you calling out, the talent I have to break things down. Because sometimes I feel like, did I explain that right? And so just to see that reflection or to see that reflected back really means a lot, because sometimes we don't know what our talents are, but other people recognize them. And that's something very unique, not unique, but it's something that's in my chart. Like, that's in my human design chart. I'm a 2/4. The 2/4 is the easy breezy genius, and sometimes like we're good at things and it's so natural that we don't recognize it as a talent, but other people do. And so it helps us hone in on where we can use our magic to serve others, because, oh, this actually is something that helps people. Oh, I didn't know, because it just came so easily to me. So
Yeah,
I
it's like
appreciate.
no brainer for you. Yeah. And for us, we're like,
Yeah.
we're trying to like wrap our.
Yes. So I appreciate that so much. And yeah, this conversation was so wonderful. We had so many people like dropping in and out, and I hope that maybe we'll see Candace in April in Egypt. That would be so wonderful. She'll be such an amazing addition to the retreat if she comes. But if you're listening to this
Amazing.
and you're feeling that call, like you're being pulled, answer that call. I mean, and Paula has set this up to be as accessible as possible. So for those of you who are very well resourced financially, who can just put down, a payment in full, we got you. If you're someone that needs a couple of months, we got you. If you're someone that maybe needs a year to get everything paid off because you need a Klarna payment plan versus, a shorter payment plan, we got you. So we're here to accommodate people from all socioeconomic backgrounds and different levels of being currently resourced. And there's also different tiers on the retreat. And honestly, we're all doing the same things together. So whether you're standard or VIP, like obviously VIP has like single rooms and like private classes and upgrades and things that are unique to them for the price point. But even if you come in at standard, I mean, you're still getting to do all of the same things that
It's
everybody else
still a
is.
VIP
It's
experience.
still a
Absolutely.
VIP experience. Like, there is no, like, you're not gonna feel like, oh, I'm not having the same magic that somebody else is having, because we're all together going on this journey. And so I just wanted to, like, for anybody else that might be questioning that, I wanted to just clear that up, because
Yes.
it's absolutely transformative experience.
Thank you. So I'm going to drop the website for the ones that want to go look at it right now. It's called TakeMeToEgyptRetreat.com. TakeMeToEgyptRetreat.com. Sounds like a commercial, but everything is on, everything is on there. Reach out if you have any questions. I will be going on a live tomorrow with our other guest, Carrie, that was with us this journey as well. Was an amazing stunt woman, and you've probably seen her in Black Panther. Just amazing people that we got to have on this retreat. So it's amazing to hop on and take a moment to talk about it. And I will talk a little bit about what ceremonies I offer tomorrow, a little bit more in depth. But as a nugget, what I offer are ceremonies where we connect with the water frequency, and especially with the Orishas. So Yemaya and Oshun, we get to celebrate her by the Nile, and Yemaya by the beach. So we have ceremonies there. And I'll share a little bit more tomorrow about that. We're going to let you go, my friends. It was a pleasure being here and talking with you, my sweet friend, Andrea. Work with us. You feeling that call inside your heart. Overall, always listen to your intuition. Nobody has the secret and all the healing for you. It's the work you got to do. But some folks will have certain keys to help you unlock certain parts of yourself. And if you feel that, oh yeah, I felt that in my body. Woof. If you feel that, we are here. Our mission is to really help elevate this world, and specifically the feminine frequency. Remember the lean back.
Yes. Relax, girl. Just lean back. It's taking care of the divine. Got you.
I'm about to go to the jacuzzi to go take care of me, to be leaning back.
I wish I was doing that. I'm going to go fill up my diesel for my heater.
Self-love for your future self,
That's
which is
right.
also important stuff.
That's me leaning into my masculine to care for my feminine so that I'll be nice and cozy and toasty tonight. So my masculine is going to handle some shit this afternoon, and then my feminine is going to rest this evening.
And that's how we stay in balance. That is a perfect word to end our call. I love you so much.
Oh, Jinx.
Thank you all for being here and chatting with us. And then y'all can DM us some questions and we'll answer them at the next call.
Yes. Thanks, Paula. I'll see you soon. Thanks for everybody that was here for joining us. I really appreciate your presence, and see you soon.
This was so fun. Love you.
Love you too, babe.
Bye.